Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you all remotely from New York. Again, as Jim said, my name is Andrew Shapiro. I've been working in the sustainability and business area for a dozen years now. I founded a firm in 2000 called GreenOrder, which is now part of LRN, a global advisory and technical solutions business. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But I want to first tell you where I'm speaking to you from. I'm in the Bank of America building, right in the heart of New York City, and it's an appropriate place to be speaking to you from because this is a platinum certified LEED building and really represents the cutting edge of sustainable and green building technologies. My firm about 7 years ago had the pleasure of working on another important building in New York City called 7 World Trade Center down at the site where Ground Zero happened on 9/11 in 2011. And that building went up as the first LEED certified office building in New York, a gold certified building. But really delighted to have a building even best us in that regard here, a platinum certified building. So the context is appropriate for my remarks, I hope. And it's great to be having an opportunity to give you a little bit of my perspective from the United States, from over here. And I'm just going to comment on a couple of the themes that have been discussed and a few of the remarks that my colleagues have made. Jim asked me to speak about the 6 or 7 trends that all of you have been asked to evaluate and look at. And I'll give you quickly my rundown and perspective of them and then sort of how I see them animated in the comments and remarks from all of you. The first ones that were listed were business efficiency and public policy. And honestly, in 2012, I think both of those issues, business efficiency and public policy, have become table stakes for corporate leaders when it comes to sustainability. Now, efficiency is incredibly important, particularly in challenging economic times. We have to make sure that companies are demonstrating the business value of sustainability by their ability to save money, whether it's from energy, water, or other natural resources, increasing their efficiency and productivity. But businesses are doing that every day today. And frankly, it's become table stakes, and there's a lot more that can be done. Second, when it comes to public policy, while we all would like to see governments on a global basis and a domestic or national basis do more, I think corporations that are forward-thinking are already looking beyond public policy as the primary driver of sustainability and its ability to create value in business. When we talk about social media and collaboration, I think those are areas that are a lot more cutting edge and interesting. And frankly, forward-thinking businesses are embracing those, as we heard from Unilever and from BMW. The social purpose concept, remarked on by our colleague, Mr. Middleton, is interesting. I would venture to say that social purpose today is also fairly table stakes. A business must have a purpose beyond simply making money and returning profit for shareholders in order to be competitive in this global economy where we have a flat world and services and goods can be produced almost anywhere. To get the best talent, to have the loyalty of stakeholders and customers and business partners, one must have a social purpose to one's business. Then it becomes a question of how deep is that purpose, how far-reaching, how ingrained is it in the everyday DNA of the business. And then on to 2 more themes that to me are a little bit more exciting, and they are innovation in business models and new markets. And here is really, in my mind, where we have the most opportunity to use sustainability as a driver of progress. At GreenOrder, we have focused from the start on helping companies to gain competitive advantage from environmental innovation. We've worked with companies like General Electric and General Motors and HP to drive innovation in everything they do, whether it's in how they do business, the actual products and services that they deliver to market, and in the relationships that they have with their key stakeholders. So we see that as a key source of value from sustainability. And then the concept of new markets is also, we think, very interesting and important. I was really heartened to hear the remarks from Dr. Becker at BMW about not only thinking about advances in the drivetrain and in the technology of vehicles, but looking at things like alternative to vehicle ownership, because the new models around collaborative consumption, or whatever you might call it, shared access to products, represent some of the most interesting developments in sustainability in business in the last decade, we think. Similarly, figuring out how to work in collaboration with new businesses, private companies, startups, entrepreneurs, and innovators is something that iVentures is doing at BMW, and Unilever as well has a venture capital fund in San Francisco that it spun out called Physic Ventures, which is doing interesting work with startups. I'm actually involved with one of those companies. It's called Recycle Bank, and it's a system for providing loyalty and rewards for recycling and other green behaviors. It's actually rolled out in the United Kingdom as well as here in the United States. And interestingly, Recycle Bank just announced a few months ago a partnership with another very large company, Waste Management. And so they are working hand in hand to see how they can deliver more in the way of rewards and loyalty for customers and consumers who are embracing green behaviors and activities such as recycling. So in short, I would say that what is most interesting on the landscape today are the opportunities for companies to use sustainability as a way to innovate in how they do business, how they behave and operate and engage with stakeholders, and in discovering new markets and new ways to do things. And while efficiency is important and the public policy process is important, those have really become table stakes, and the opportunity lies in pushing forward and finding new ways to do things that are inspired by and really driven by the imperative of sustainability that is so real in the 21st century.